Hey YouTube, this is James from Team Collection, and I'm coming at you guys with a little bit of a side deck advice video. As you guys know, this format, it's pretty much the same as compared to last format in respects that dragons are still all over the place. Mind you, there are quite a number of other decks that are being played right now, but the side deck that I have I feel is pretty versatile considering that dragons are pretty common right now. And it's just good for some other weird matchups also. So starting off, Electric Virus is obviously, it was popular last format. It holds its popularity this format given that dragons are still around. However, I did play a Hieratics player last Saturday at my Anaheim Regionals, and Electric Virus is also really good against them. And it's also really good against Dragunity Dragons, which is another really popular deck right now. So, it's awesome. Oh, and it doesn't, it gets rid of Dracos for days. Because you'll just Electric Virus the Dracossack, tribute the Dracossack, pop something. Really nice. Next up is Prohibition. This card, in my opinion at least, it's like an MVP side deck card. And the reason for that is because it's essentially good against any deck, really. As long as you know what deck they're running and their combo pieces, you know, how the deck goes off, you can Prohibition whatever card that is, and it pretty much shuts them down, because a lot of decks nowadays are really linear, and in respects that they only really do one, they're like a one-trick pony. They do that one play over and over again. So, like, for example, with Hieratics, their main opening boss hand is a Tefnuit and a Sue. If you Prohibition the Sue, that hand goes from like a 10 to a 0, like really fast. And the reason for that, instead of calling Adam and calling Sue, is Sue's going to be the one that's popped this. Because if you call Adam, Hieratics players are just going to be like, yeah, whatever, I'll just summon Sue, pop it, and continue on with my play. But yeah, Prohibition, you know what cards they have, or what cards are required for the combo piece. Slide this in. Great card. Next up, Royal Decree. For a lot of you players out there, this is really obvious, knowing that this is a heavy back row format. However, I do find this card effective even against decks that don't really have a lot of back row right now. For example, right now is dragons pretty much all over again. They like to main or side Vanity's Emptiness. And the funny thing, and it's smart, don't get me wrong, is they'll make their play, and then when you want to make your play, they Emptiness. So, to prevent that, you chain the Decree and continue on with your herp-derpy play. And not to mention, if they do have other back row, like a Mirror Force or something, Decree protects you from that. So they either have the MST to stop it or the Dust Tornado to chain to it. But aside from that, there's pretty much no other answer to this right now, given that Heavy Storm's gone. So, Royal Decree is really good. Next up, Iron Wall. This is yet another side deck card against dragons, because we all know they banish, that's how they do their ridiculous plays. But it's also good against some rogue decks out there. Like, for example, last Saturday at Regionals, for some reason or another, I played a lot of decks that, like, they were Chaos based. And Chaos, you know, they remove, that's why it's called Chaos, so this card just really shuts them down. I mean, there's not really nothing much else to say about Imperial Iron Wall. It's just really good against those decks like dragons or those random rogue chaos decks that people think are good for some reason or another. Goes in Match is another great card. I do remember this card was really popular once upon a time because 6 Sams were all over the place, and as you guys all know, 6 Sams have different attributes. Now, the really cool thing that I like about this card in this format is, unless you're playing Dragunity E-Dragons, which can just go Ducks into Phalanx, into Vajrayana, into Stardust, or throw in a Mistletoe somewhere in there. Dragons, on the other hand, just pure dragons as they are right now, don't really have much to get out of this, because their E-Dragons, they're all different attributes, obviously, and you can only activate or summon one once per turn. So, Goes in Match says, okay, which E-Dragon do you really want? And it better be something that you can work with, because if it isn't, then it's going to go to your hand at the next end phase, and you're going to be at square one all over again. So this card's still really good, you guys. I'd consider testing it out. It may not work for some of you guys, but as a Lights 1 player, all my monsters are mostly light, so I'm doing good. This card is pretty self-explanatory. Overworked is mainly sided in against Fire Fists. However, it does have another good payoff with Madolches, and the reason why is because, as you guys know, Chateau does the boost, of course, by 500, and pretty much all Fire Fists, spell, and trap cards give an attack boost. And lastly, you have Dust Tornado. This is for the players out there that already have the MST's mains, but they need to side in more back row removal. If you don't have the MST's main, then you need to side in the MST's. Also, if you're going to be siding in Dust Tornadoes, you can't side in one or the other. They do the same thing, so you might as well side in both of them. But this is mainly for decks such as like Fire Fist, Chain to the Tensu, Chain to the Tensan, you know, all these other things that just are a bit problematic and just pretty much turn the tide of the duel around in general. So I hope you guys like this video, you guys. The videos are probably going to be a little bit more scarce now, considering that I'm in school and I don't really have too much free time. But as always, you guys, comment, like, and subscribe for more videos.